Hi, Internet viewers. Frank Rauscher again. What we're going to do on this video, we've got the blank and we rounded the belly and we rounded the top and we rounded the tail on the top. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to mark out points on here where I need to cut a shoulder in on both sides, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cut the underneath side of the tail so that we could hollow that out too, because the tail right now we rounded the top, but we still have material on the bottom, so we'll get that going as well. So this is basically putting more shape into the blank itself, and we're moving on. So bear with me 1 second and we'll take it down the camera and I'll show you how we do that too. Okay, so bear with me. Okay, we're going to now start marking out more of the blank so we can put some shape into it. We'll also start putting some of the dimensions onto what would be the face, even though we're not going to do the face right at the moment. We're really going to shape this and get the shoulder muscle cut in where the wing comes in, and we'll do that on both sides and the tail. And we will do some laying out of what the diameter, the dimensions on the head. Okay, so let's start out by, I'm going to give you a dimension from, I want to go from the tail up, and I want to measure it's 5/8 up from the tail. So from the tail up, and you're going to say where here. If you come up 5/8 and put a dot, and then if you measure across the width of that bird right there from outside edge to outside edge looking straight down, you'll come up with 1 inch. Let's see what we have here. It's about 1 inch. I'm really juggling here. It's about 1.25 inches, roughly. So I'm coming up maybe just a hair less than that. It's about 9/16 up from the outside edge to the center here, just to give you a location. So we come up 3 5/8, which is here. Now, for those who are doing metric, I'm going to give you another number. It's let's see. It's 9 and yeah, it's 9 millimeters. Oh, it ain't 9 centimeters, excuse me, and 1 millimeter. So 9.1 to here. That would be 3 5/8. Okay. At that point, I'm asking you across this area right here. I'm going to sort of lay this in and just put an imaginary line across here so you can see what I'm doing. And what I do is I come from the outside edge to outside edge, measure across that. Mine's coming out to about 1.25 inches, maybe a little less than that. So I'm asking you to find the middle between out here and out here, where my fingers are. And when you find the middle, That's at 9 5/8 here. I want you to put an X right there, okay? And then we'll flip it to the other side, and we'll do the exact same thing. We're going to measure up. And this is not a wraparound. It's not like you're laying a bent ruler. This is as the crow flies, okay? We're laying this so that we're at the end here. And we measure, I'll put a dot right here. And that may not be the right spot, so I'm going to measure across here again. I'm going to come like right across here. I'm going to draw this as a light line. And if you measure from outside edge to outside edge, this is measuring a little less. Let's see. Yeah, it's about 9/16. So I'm going to put an X right here. Okay, so we have that established on both sides. They're about 9/16 in to that edge. Okay, or in your case, whatever the width of what you have on your bird, you split it in half, and that's the center. So you put it right there. So this should measure 3 5/8 up to that point. Straight, not bent, straight. Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you to come around. Let me see. I'm trying to get some of my numbers here correct. Yeah. On the top here, I want you to measure up the center line. I want you to go 3 1/4. So I'm going to measure up 3 1/4. Which is right here. I'm going to put a dot there. Then I'm going to go out perpendicular to the right and to the left. Okay. We're going out 1/4 inch from the center out to the left or right, and 1/4 inch on the right. We'll put an X right there. Okay. And an X right there. So we come up 3 1/4, we're out 1/4, and we're out 1/4 from the center on both sides on a perpendicular line. And how you get the perpendicular line, if you get your inch ruler and lay it so that the big hash mark is running on the center line there, once you got that centered, then you got a 90 in here, and that gives you a perpendicular line, okay? Now, we're going to flip to the bottom side. Now, this, I'm going to use my flexible ruler, and I'm going to measure from the back end here. I'm going to lay this down. This is called what I call wrap-around dimension. It literally follows the contour. I'm going to come up 3 1/2 inches to here. Okay. Now I'm going to go out perpendicular at this point. I'm going to draw a perpendicular line, come out 1/4 inch here and 1/4 inch here. I'm going to put an X right here and an X right here. Okay. So we got both X's up here, we got an X on the side, and we got 2 down here, and so on. So that's establishing points. I'm going to show you what I want to do now. From these points, I'm going to go from X to X and draw a real light line, because this isn't going to matter other than I'm drawing a straight line between the two. I'm going to come up about 1/8 inch off that line in the middle between these two. Okay, now I'm going to make an arc, and this will be like my tangent point to the arc. So watch me. I'm going to come from this X. I'm going to shoot up to that mark. And I'm making this heavy. This line's we're going to erase that to get it out of here. And we come up to this X. So we have a nice arc. It's kind of flat, but it's pretty good. Now we're going from X to X here. We draw a straight line. Okay. I want you to come up find the middle between the two. Come up 1/8 of an inch, put a dot there, and then continue this arc up through there, and then down to that X. Now you got a whole swing of an arc right there, okay? That's one side done. Now we got to do the same thing on the other side. And you're always moving 1/8 of an inch towards the beak side, always. So don't go on the other side. You're going toward the beak side. So you're drawing this line, but when you go to make the 1/8 inch, you're heading towards the beak. So it's this side. Okay, here we go again. I'm going to draw a light line between X to X. I'm going to find the midpoint between it. I'm just eyeballing it, but I'm pretty good on this. Come up about 1/8 of an inch. And here we go. I'm going to arc this up through that X. From the X up through that dot. And then I'm coming down to the X. Okay? Now, I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to draw a real light line from X to X. Find about the midpoint between the two, which I think is right here. And I'll come up 1/8 of an inch. And I'm going to swing that arc right up through that dot and down. So now I got an arc on this side and an arc on this side. This is the shoulder that we're going to be building, okay? And then on the bottom here, this is hollowed out. Right now we have this rolling this way. Remember, we had marked this out and it's dished down. Now we want to hollow out from, we came down 1/8 of an inch and had this arc in here. So I'm going to give you a boundary inside to hollow out so that we can thin this tail down some more. So I'm going to lay my ruler down. I'm going to come up 1.25 inches, put a dot. And then this is what I want you to do. I want you to come in about 1/8 of an inch from the edge and bring this up along this edge 1/8 of an inch. And when you get up to the dot, I want you to arc it in. And do the same thing on the other side, about 1/8 of an inch in. You come on up, and then it turns right into that dot like that, okay? That will be where we hollow it out. We're going to take everything out where this arc is, all throughout here, down to that thickness there, from the top down, to meet up with that. And I'll show you how to do that too. The other thing that we want to do is we want to establish some of the parameters for the head here so that we have enough room to establish this cheek area that I call, which is this here, which is sticking out. I have it 7/16 wide from the center out on both sides. And then there's an inner part where the head reduces down from this eye area up and around. It's only 1/4 of an inch out from the center on each side. So we're going to draw that in. And the other thing we want to do is the beak, from the tip of the beak up to here is 3/8. So what we want to do is, well, let me back off on that a minute. Let me make sure you have this. We had this center line going right down through the center of the head here. And what I'm going to ask you to do is bring it down and run it down through here. So we have that line continuous. Like if you got your ruler and you put it on edge, and from the top to the bottom, it's running along this whole edge, that line. That means you're straight up and down. It's almost like you're slicing that. You're not, but you're marking it that way. You want to guarantee that this line is straight up and down and not going off on a skew. And that could happen. So check yourself out to make sure that when you're looking down from the top on this thing, your edge of your line on the top of the head is on the edge of the ruler, and when you draw this line down, it's on the edge of the ruler too, okay? So we get that established. Now, what I want to do is I start what I call a beak line, which is going to go right through here, and everything gets built off of this beak line. So let's make sure this is right on the money here. So from the top of the head down, our beak line, we're saying from the top of the head down, it's going to be 9/16 from the top of the head down. So if we come from the top of the head, which is here, and that's before it takes the roll to go down. If you come over here and you measure down from the top 9/16, I put a dot there. Okay, so I have a dot here, 9/16 down. Now, we have the tip of the beak is also a point that's been established because we know what this wedge is. That's your beak coming together there. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to lay this. Let me move this out of here. This cloth is a shelf type that doesn't let things slide. It's great that you can get this at a dollar store. And this is good to put as like a mat, or if you have like a rubber mat, so the piece doesn't go sliding all over the place, acts like another hand. So I'm going to put the tail, I'm going to hold the tail down so it doesn't go rocking and rolling. I have a dot here and a dot here, and I draw this line back. And I'm drawing this line all the way back. Okay, right to there, like that. This is what I call the beak line, and everything is going to be built on the head from that beak line. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, I'm going to ask you to do this. And this gets a little tricky here. To establish this side, to get that line slicing across, you could be walking all over with this. So here's what I do. I don't know if you can see this on the camera or not, but I try to look down the barrel of here, and this is one line coming through, and I want to extend it to this side. So what I do is I eyeball it to say, okay, I'm going to take a shot and say, if I put a dot over here, it looks like it's in line with that. So I put a dot right there, and then I go from the tip of the beak again, excuse me, from the tip of the beak back to that dot, I draw my line, okay? And I draw it lightly in the beginning because I'm not sure if this is in the same plane. Just like we were slicing this through the same plane, If we were going straight through, it's on edge. What we're going to do is I get a large inch mark, like the 2, and I run that up, and I want it perpendicular so that when we're looking straight down that barrel, we got crosshairs. We got the center line coming through the beak, and we want the beak line to go right through that center as well. So I usually run my ruler up to the point of the tip of the beak, and I look to see if this line is in the same plane. And another way to check it, every one of these quadrants is got to be a 90 in here, a 90 coming here, a 90 over here. So then you know that this is completely perpendicular to the tip of that beak, okay? And that's, you got to make sure of that's ideal, okay? Because we're building everything by numbers off of this center line, both this one and this. This is the beak line. This is the center line of the head. Now, once we get that established and you make sure that this is perpendicular to this line and so on, we're going to come back and I'm going to give you a dimension for what would be this area right in here. This beak, from the tip of the beak up to where it touches the head, is 3/8. So I'm going to come here and move my pattern over a little bit. I'm going to get my inch mark, and I'm going to get it to the tip of the beak, and I'm laying this down basically on this here, and I'm measuring back 3/8, and I put a dot right there. So from the tip of the beak up, that's 3/8, okay? So we got that mark. Now, if you look over here, this is this beak, from the tip of the beak along that beak line is 7/16. So I put this down, I come over, and I'm doing it the way the crow flies. It's not laying down on this, it's up here, and you're looking straight down from the tip of the beak. You're saying 7/16. So 7/16 ends up as right here. Okay, and you want to do that on the other side as well. So you come over here, and actually, I believe the 7/16 is almost a lay down dimension on this side. Let me check this out. So 7/16. Let's see. Yeah, it's like a lay down dimension. So from the tip of the beak back to here is going to fall right here. Okay. Now, what we also want to do, the head narrows from the eyes up, and that's 1/4 of an inch out, and we're doing this arc right here and this arc over here, and that's the thinner part of the head. I'm going to bring in the finished piece here, and this is what I'm trying to show you. This head narrows from the eyes up, and the cheeks are down here. They're the 7/16 out here. So the cheeks are out further, the head's smaller, okay? So I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to come up some distance up off of this center line, and I want you to come out like a 1/4 of an inch here from the center out, and from the center out here, and put a dot, okay? And this could be almost to the top of the head where it's just ready to roll down, okay? Then to determine where the cheek are going to go, which are down here really, but not the top, we're going to measure that too. We're going to put that 7/16 out. So I'm going to go 7/16 out. I'll put a dot here, and I'll go 7/16 out here. That's right on edge, okay? It's getting close, but the cheeks are down here, remember that. And this head's going to thin out to this later. Now, here's what I want to do. The beak, it starts right here, and this arc coming down and around is right where the beak ends. So I'm going to start right here at that 3/8 mark from the tip of the beak up as you lay the ruler down here. That gets marked, and I come out here and I arc this around and I come back like this. And this is a 1/4 of an inch out, okay? Here's the other 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to come around like this, arc around, and then come back, okay? That is representing this area right in here. And that's the upper part of the head. Now, the outside cheek area is going to come off right about here. It's going to swing out, and it's going to go to that 7/16 dot out here and swings back, okay? And then I'm going to come off right here, and that 7/16 mark was right there, and then that comes back, okay? Now that's sort of the shape of the head. Now what we're going to do is we're going to try to draw in the beak. Okay, now the beak, we said, was 7/16 in from the edge. So if we measure from the tip of the beak in, let's make sure that that mark I have there is correct. I got 7/16. That is right there. And I have the same thing over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start out where we ended on the top here on that arc. That's where the beak comes in. So I'm going to come down here on a 45-degree angle from that dot. And then I'm going to come around. Once I hit that wall there, that corner, I'm going to come down, then I'm going to arc back, and then I'm going to drop in right in on that 7/16 mark. So I started from here, I came off on a 45-degree angle, then I come down, around, and drop down. And this should be less than 1/8 of an inch in here, so it gives you some idea to come down, and then you come straight in on that point, okay? We'll do the same thing on the other side. We'll come off of this on a 45-degree angle. We're going to come swinging down, around, and drop in on that 7/16 mark, okay? So it looks like that when you're looking straight down at it. It's a little weird right now, but we'll adjust this too. So don't feel as though that's the end all. It isn't. This beak is too wide. We are going to adjust that too. So now this beak has a C in it. It's like right here. It comes from that point on our beak line and it swings down. We said 1/8 of an inch. So from this point, this is going to swing out about 1/8 of an inch and then come back in on itself. So if I drew a straight line through here, this would go out 1/8 of an inch and then come back down from 1/8 of an inch, okay? And that sets up the bottom of the beak. So from this point coming up here, it goes like this, okay? Actually, what I want to do, I'm going to take that back. It doesn't go to the point yet. We're going to ask you to go straight out, okay? My mistake. Now, we're going to go to the other side. We're going to do the same thing. We're here at this point. We're going to come out with a C right in here, 1/8 of an inch down from our point that we touched on the beak line. And we came down and we put a dot right there. That's 1/8 of an inch between this one and that one. And then we go out straight. Just like this for now, okay? So that gets the boundary set up. Now, the reason why we sort of established this cheek area, which is here and here, which is here and here, where my fingers are right up to it, is we're going to cut in here. And you're going to ask me, how deep does this have to be? This cut has to be to that line so that when we cut this in, I got to almost reach that depth. So we got to go in deep enough that if we draw the line back, we're right on that edge. We're just shy of it. And we're doing the same thing on the other side. Okay, when we cut in this shoulder, we are got to get right to the depth of, if I drew a straight line back, this has to go in deep enough on that X to that line, okay? And I'll show you how to do that. So what we're going to use is my trusty Fordham here. And something maybe I didn't state to you before when we first started rounding this. This is a tungsten carbide burr. It's a 1/4 inch shank, okay? It's a 1/2 inch in diameter. Now, they do make them smaller, but if you do, you need to get at least the spacing. You know, some of the smaller ones are maybe a 1/4 of an inch in diameter. This is a 1/2 inch. So this is ideal for doing what we want to do here, because I'm going to lay my bit and I'm going to be shallow at this X, deep on that X, because I got to drive that line back, or that X back. And then when I come up to this X, it's shallow again. So I'm going to show you how to do that. But the first initial pass, you do it nice and easy to stay on line. And the middle of this bit is right on the line, okay? You're not moving all over the place. You're following that line as if like the line is part of the middle of this bit, okay? And we're doing it that way. And a 1/2 inch is the ideal size to do this work. So let me trust and see if my Fordham runs, which is, there we go. Okay, it's making a little bit of noise, but we'll get you there. I'm going to lay this right on the line. You can see the line starts disappearing, but I want to track it to get a channel going through here. And then I'm coming up to the X right there. Let me go back and I'll put the X in again so you can see it. It was right here, and the other one's still there. Okay, I want to get this depth from here up to this line. So I got to drive this back all the way to here, or almost there. So here we go. I'm going to come in here again. Now that I got the channel, I'm just going to keep on rocking this back and forth. And I don't want to go deep on the X. I'm stopping short. And then I look down to see where I am in this valley here to this line, this outside edge here. So I'm going to throw this in here just so you can see. I'm going to come in some more. It seems drastic, but it's right in here where you got to take most of it out. Now, I'm getting closer to this now than I've been before, okay? So I'm going to stop there. I'll get rid of the fuzz here, just real quick like that. That's one part. Now I'm going to do the other one. I'm going to set this right in the middle of the bit and get that channel going. I'm not getting rid of the X because I want to be shallow at that point. It's in here, but I don't want to go deep real fast. I just want to get the channel in. Once I get the channel in, then I can go back and forth in here, and then I can check myself out to say, is where my ruler is, if I'm looking down on this has to go back to that line, and it's right in here. And you want to make a nice transition. You don't want to stop and start in there. The depth is right in there. So if I put this down and I line this up like this, a little more. And it looks drastic, but it's not, okay? Now, here's what I'm going to do. Some of the work we did here, we're going to lose, but that's okay. We'll put that in later. Here's what I want to try to do. Here's our line of action. I'm going to mark this out as if it was still there. There's our arc. Okay. All this edge of the channel that I just made has to blend away. And on this side, we want to keep it. I'm going to show you how to roll this edge so that we keep this side towards the tail there. But the first thing I want to do is get this down. So I'm going to come in here and I'm pulling this bit straight up. You can see how close I'm getting to that line. At the same time, the channel edge is disappearing. Okay, so all of this now on that channel edge is gone. Okay, as you're looking straight down. Now, we do have an edge down here under the beak area. I'm just going to lightly roll that around just a little bit. And I'm not trying to come up onto the beak either. Just doing that local. Just to get rid of the edges because we're trying to make this bird rounded. Okay? And we don't want hard edges. Now, here's the key here. We have this edge right here, and that's what I call the shoulder. And we're going to come in here, and I'm going to take, I don't want you doing this. I don't want you coming in like this because this will put a V cut right in here, and you'll get deeper and deeper, and you don't want to get any deeper. So you're going to roll this edge like this, gently across that edge like this. So it stays there and it softens it out, okay? Because if you go the other way, you're going to get too deep. See, and that whole shoulder there, I want it to roll out of there nicely so that it's just a in and out roll, and it blends back in. And if you need to come down a little bit more, do it, you know. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to come in here. Let me show you this. Here's our line of action that we had. It's coming all the way back to here. And we got this channel edge we want to blend away. And this edge we want to just roll over. So here we go. We're going to go for the head. And we want to come up so that this bump out here gets close to that line. So I'm going to come like this. I'm blending this away. And I'm coming straight, you know, I'm not trying to do crazy things with this. I'm coming out, and I'm looking to see, I'm still out here, and that line is back here still, so I've still got a chunk of it there still. So I'm gonna come in here, blend that out. And what it does, it reduces the size that's down in here, okay? Now I'm gonna roll this around here, gently. Okay. I'll just do that lightly there. Just not to have any real hard edges. I'm still gaining an edge there, but I'm going to try to just soften. This is a real big hogging bit. A lot of times you can get in trouble with it if you take too much off. So be gentle with this, okay? Now, this edge right here, let me get rid of the fuzz here. There's your edge, and I want to roll that this way, okay? Don't get that barrel in like this and try to take over. You're coming across it, and you're sort of just rolling it back and forth, just like that, and it softens that edge out, okay? Just like that, just like that. If we still have a lot of material here, don't worry about it. I'm going to, I came in on this line, and it looks like the 7/16, which was this outside dimension right here, is still there. Okay, it comes out here, and we're out here. So if we hold this like this, you can see we still have about maybe 1/8 of an inch to go on this one. This side, you're probably going to get closer. Here's your 7/16. We're out here. You're within 1/16 of that. That's okay. We could live with that. But this here is still too bulky out here, and I'm going to have to bring that in. So let's come in with the Fordham again. I'm going to pull that in just a little bit more. See if I can't get there closer. And we're pretty close now. So I'm going to stop that there. Hello. And now we're getting it necked in there, and you can see that. I hope you can anyway. I hope I'm not going out of camera range here again, because I tend to drift up and back. But right in here, you can see we're necking in. Now, that's a pretty good start for the head, okay? We're going to come back on this on the next video and develop the whole head to bring that out, plus the eyes and everything else. But we still have things to do on the body here. So on this, the tail, as I said to you before, we had done the arc on top, and we came down 1/8 of an inch, and we took all this down and blended that off. Now, I also had you come down and duplicate it again, 1/8 of an inch down. We made this arc, and we came back. Now, this whole area in here below this last arc and all in here have to be taken out. So this is how we do it. We're going to go in, and we're going to go straight down with the barrel till we get to that line. Then we're going to go in, and we're going to dish it out, make it concave. So let's see what we do. There we go. We're going to come in here. You just take some digs in there until you don't have to do this all in one shot. We get close to the pencil line. Okay. Now we're on the pencil line. Now I'm going to go in a little further. But I want to keep it smooth through there. Then I'm going to come up and just walk this up to the pencil line here, which was 1/8 of an inch in. And I'm doing the same thing over here. The pencil line that's 1/8 of an inch in. I'm just going to come back and get that in like that. So now you got the whole thing dished, okay? You got the roll here, and you got it concave this way and convex this way, okay? So for what we want to do on this video, we're in good shape now. We got this taken care of. We got the head sort of out, and on the next video, we're going to attack everything here and get the beak, the eyes, and everything else, and even some of the lines that we ground away, like the beak line. I'm going to show you how to put that back in again, because you have it established here. We didn't grind that away, and we didn't grind it away on this side. We'll put that back in, and then we're going to start building off of that line, and I'll show you how to do that. And if you didn't get close enough to what you should have been on the width here, don't worry about it, because we're going to correct that, and we will get to that point. The beak right now, if you look from center out on both sides, it's about that wide, and it's going to end up as about half of that. It's really not that wide at all. It's about it's going to come back in about half the distance we have, like the here, and I'll show you how to do that too. But that's okay. We're doing this, graduated, and that's how we get there. So hope you got something out of this video. If you did, I'd ask you to give me a thumbs up, and if you could subscribe to my channel, that would be great. We are moving on and trying to establish this guy right here, which is our goldfinch. I'll get it right. And we're going to try to do this and duplicate it. And I'm going to show you how to do that. And we do a step-by-step. If anybody is interested in wanting to do this bird, I have kits available, which has this pattern here. And it comes with the eyes, the feet, the pattern, and the basswood blank. So it's everything you need to at least get started. You know, you'll need paints later on, things like that, but at least you could get going on this. And then I'll take you step by step right on through. And if you have any friends that may be interested, if you could pass my information along as well, that would be great, because I'm trying to grow my channel, and I would appreciate any of the help that you guys can do for me as far as getting the word out. I used to teach this as classes that I did for years, and we used to go like for 10 to 12 weeks to do a bird like this. And what I mean by that is with the whole thing looking like this. This would be mounted and everything else, and the base and the whole bit. So we're trying to teach you how to do this as well. As far as like the Fordham, I do sell these. The micro grinders that you saw that I use as we go along here, you'll see that too. I sell these ram grinders, and there's burning units. I carry them. I carry a lot of equipment, plus the bits I use and stuff like that. So if anybody is in need of any of this, please let me know. You can contact me to get my catalog, and it's through my email. It's Rauscher, Rauscher, Frank, Frank, 7 at gmail.com. And if you didn't get that, it's in the body of the description of this video. And you can contact me. And if you give me your email address, I will send you a catalog out. It doesn't show everything I handle, but if there's something you need, let me know. I have a lot of different stuff that I don't have in the catalog, but I'm just trying to get you guys off the ground. If you need any of this stuff, I do have it available, and the prices are pretty good. And, you can search out and check stuff like that. That's okay too. And I will try to guide you in just what you need and not everything that's out there, okay? Because the tendency when you get into a hobby is to buy everything, and you don't need everything. So, and if you have a Dremel, use the Dremel, okay? Don't go buying equipment that you don't need. But if you want to get spoiled, I'll show you some of the machines I have, which makes it a lot easier and nicer to use. So I will guide you as we go, and I'll see you on the next video, and we will attack the head, okay? So thanks for hanging in there, and we'll see you on the next video.